I'm about to say something that might just shock you all. The Nintendo Wii U could have been the ultimate entertainment center of people's homes.
Nintendo was really beating around the bush with this. They gave the Wii U all the resources and potential for this to become true, yet they did nothing.
I know it's hard to believe that the worst selling Nintendo home console of all time could have been a big hit, but that's what I'm going to discuss today. So let us dive in to how the Wii U could have been the ultimate entertainment machine.
When you first take a look at the Wii U gamepad, you can tell this thing is crammed full of technology. I mean, you've got a full control deck with 2 joysticks and all, you've got an NFC reader built in with its own dedicated spot, a camera up top, and of course, a big ol' touchscreen right in the middle of it all. That's right, the Wii U doesn't just have another screen, but a touchscreen too. It works with both your fingers and the included stylus, but some of these features either go unused or underappreciated in most games. I have to admit though, the amount of titles I found that actually use the touchscreen for deeper gameplay is actually quite impressive, but what about the games that use the touchscreen as, well, a second screen? I can think of a couple, those being Mario Kart 8 and Wii Party U, that make pretty good if not excellent use of the gamepad as a second screen. In Mario Kart, you can use the touchscreen to see what items players have, what place they're in, and my favorite part, the horn. These may seem like small features, but let me tell you, it's great knowing ahead of time when players behind you have red shells, mushrooms, bloopers, etc. And Wii Party U uses the screen for 1 vs 3 minigames, giving the single player an advantage over the group. This makes the game really fun to play with friends and family. But then you have games like Mario Party 10 that use the touchscreen specifically to tell you not to look at the touchscreen.
Okay.
And we haven't even talked about the camera yet. I'll be honest, I don't remember any Wii U game specifically using the camera. There were some apps that used it, like the Mii Maker, Wii U Chat, and those games that allowed you to take tours of countries and cities. Now, I want to say Miiverse used it as well, but googling it got me nowhere. And it's too late for me to find out myself, so... I'll just have to guess it did for now. I mean, I could totally see you being able to post pictures from the camera on there or something. I'd be a bit surprised if it wasn't a feature.
Nintendo could have brought games to the next level, no pun intended, with all these cool features offered right in the palm of the user's hand.
It's a shame these features weren't developed or worked on further, but the extra GamePad capabilities aren't the only thing the Wii U had going for it. It also had a massive library of playable titles, including many cross-generation titles, so let's get more into that. In addition to its own digital downloadable and physical exclusive games, the Wii U has a pretty substantial library of older titles within its Virtual Console library. You got classics from the NES, SNES, Game Boy Advance, N64, DS, and Wii. Not to mention that almost every Wii game is compatible with the Wii U if you have the disc versions. You can download and play hundreds of classics from all of these consoles, which is really nice. Especially since the latest generation of Nintendo consoles doesn't have this feature. But that's not what this video is about. There really is a whole lot you can play on this one system, and like I said earlier, you've also got all the Wii U downloadable exclusives and physical disc releases of the games. And again, almost complete backwards compatibility with all Wii games. That's right, you can play pretty much every Wii game by entering Wii Mode, which pretty much is a Wii emulator within the system. This is how I've been playing all my Wii games since 2015 when I bought the Wii U. Within this Wii menu, you can transfer all of your save data from your Wii to the Wii U. This includes all save data from games and eShop downloads. Yeah, don't you remember that massive library of games available on the Wii, some not even from Nintendo consoles? Well, you can even play those games on the Wii U through the system transfer option. You could also do this with the Wii Shop channel back when it was still in operation. This thing can literally do pretty much everything the Wii can along with being its own system. So you can see, the Wii U has the capability of playing hundreds if not close to thousands of different games across many generations of systems. If you had your favorite titles available on the online shops, you could just download them all. This means that you won't have to dig out all the hardware and try to make room in your media center for the older systems. You can play everything on just the Wii U. Now how's about that for convenience?
Now yes, for those of you who know the Wii U pretty well, I'm sure you're yelling at me right now saying, "This is impossible because of the Wii U's horrendously small storage!" And yes, you're right. The internal storage space would need to be much larger for something like this to work effectively. But these older games are rather small, so you could still hold a decent amount of them if you're primarily downloading older titles.
For newer ones, you'll need an external storage drive for sure. But hey, this wouldn't be a problem if Nintendo just included larger storage from the start.
So as you can see, the Wii U's game compatibility is quite impressive, but what's equally as impressive is how many different controllers work with the system as well. Let's talk about that, shall we? Having a massive amount of playable games on a system is one thing, but none of those matter without good controllers to back them up.
Luckily, the Wii U has the ability to make use of many controllers, those being the Wii U Gamepad, the Wii Remotes, the Wii Nunchuck, Mini NES and SNES controllers, the Wii U Pro Controller, the Wii Classic Controller, and the Wii Classic Controller Pro. Many of them work as accessories by plugging them into the port on the bottom of the Wii Remotes. This goes for the Mini NES and SNES controllers too. I actually made a video about this with the Mini SNES controllers. I'll put a link to the video in the description if you'd like to check it out. If you like to play retro games with an authentic feeling controller but don't want to constantly be switching out consoles, then this would be perfect for you. But these games are still perfectly playable with the standard controllers like the Gamepad and Wii Remotes. While these controller options are pretty neat, they could have been even better. Like imagine being able to play with 2 or more gamepads at the same time. Games like Mario Kart could be even more thrilling since now, more people can see who has which items. Party games can have more strategizing and backstabbing with more privacy between players, and platformers won't have to worry about keeping up with all players. They could each have their own view of the level on their own gamepad screen. This could also be great when it comes to playing games without the TV. Say your parents kick you and your brother out from the TV so they can watch their shows. Now you two can continue playing Yoshi's Woolly World together, but on your own gamepad screens. That way, you can also keep using the gamepad as a controller, which is way more comfortable than the Wii remotes. And you also won't have to share the tiny little gamepad screen. Boy, that would have been nice.
The Wii U has an abundance of controller options to use for the different games, and the possibilities are seemingly endless with this much hardware to use. It's just too bad Nintendo didn't take advantage of what they had. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention the GameCube adapter that you could use for Wii U Smash Bros. Now yes, I know it's technically called Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo Wii U, but they both mean the same thing, okay?
So yeah, Nintendo sold this USB adapter for GameCube controllers that worked with Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. And nothing more. That's right, not a single other game worked with this accessory. At least, not officially.
And that really pisses me off.
Just imagine all the cool and
wanted
things that Nintendo could have done if this accessory were just taken advantage of more. We're about to get more into that up next. So let's start by looking back at some older hardware. So, the GameCube uses discs to operate. Got that? Okay, now the original Wii models could support GameCube discs, and also had ports for GameCube controllers and memory cards. Understand? So let's look at the Wii U. It has a disc drive that can support both its own games and Wii games. It also has a Wii emulator inside it. It has an adapter for GameCube controllers, yet it cannot play GameCube discs. And there are no GameCube games on Virtual Console.
Does that sound a little complicated? Let's recap real quick.
The Wii U has the physical capability to play GameCube games and support GameCube software, yet it doesn't take advantage. Now why exactly did Nintendo not include these features? I mean, they literally have all the resources already set to make this happen. All they needed to do was upload the game files to the Virtual Console or slightly alter the disk drive to be able to catch GameCube discs, but they couldn't even do that. I'm not mad, just disappointed. Had the console been designed and programmed just slightly differently, it could play GameCube games from the discs or Virtual Console, use the adapter for the controllers, and use the internal storage for game save data. And again, it has all the resources to do this!
Now I can't confirm this for sure, but I'm fairly certain that the developers knew about this accessory prior to the system officially launching.
The system launched in 2012. Wii U Smash Bros. Launched in September of 2014. And the GameCube adapter launched in November 2014.
I may not be a game developer, but I know it takes more than 2 years to make a game, especially one as complicated as Super Smash Bros.
They must have had the controller code ready for the GameCube compatibility when they were programming the game. Since this was back when games released only when they were completed. So they could have probably used that to form the code for more widespread use of the accessory. It's just a missed opportunity. Which is honestly just too bad. I know I'm not the only one who wanted GameCube games on Virtual Console. Far from it, in fact. I know myself, along with many other people, would have loved this feature on the Wii U. And this just goes back to that whole idea of the Wii U being an all-in-one entertainment center for the family. You could experience a whole other library of games on the same system, which would be great for those who either had GameCube games already or just wanted to dive into games from the past.
Now yes, GameCube backwards compatibility is not all it will take to make the Wii U an all-in-one entertainment center, but we're not done talking about this idea just yet. Why don't we talk about how Nintendo could have used the technology they already had in the disk drive to enhance the system even further.
Back in the good old days of 2012, disc media was still dominant in people's homes, with many CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays all hitting the shelves of local stores. Video game companies took notice of the popularity of these shiny circles and said, "Hey, we use discs for our games. We have lasers in our consoles to read them. So let's also make our video game consoles disc players. Genius!" That's exactly what Sony did with the PlayStation 2, and it only sold a little over 155 million units. I guess that's impressive. No, but in all seriousness though, DVD playability is undeniably the reason that the PlayStation 2 is still the top-selling video game console of all time, even over 20 years later. It provided multiple forms of entertainment all in one machine, which meant space savings, and people like hearing those words. And this was just with DVDs, CDs, and games. Can you guess what I'm gonna say next? The original Xbox One can play CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays.
What? Do you think I was going to say something about the Wii U? You silly goose. Well, I guess I'll say it now.
If a system that came out shortly after the Wii U could do all of this, I don't see why the Wii U couldn't do it either. I mean, like I said, disc media was still popular at the times of these consoles' release. All Nintendo would have needed to do is develop software to handle the different types of media, and they should be good to go. Now yes, that does take extra work, but that extra work could have easily paid off as an extra buying incentive for consumers, especially since the Wii couldn't play CDs or DVDs. That could have also helped in establishing the Wii U as a system separate from the Wii.
Which these definitely didn't help with. Now if I'm being realistic here, I don't think they would do Blu-ray compatibility. Blu-rays need a specific laser to read them, and since Wii U games run on DVDs, it doesn't have the right lasers to make this work.
Blu-ray discs need a special laser to work, while CDs and DVDs can share the same laser. DVD lasers can read both CDs and DVDs.
It would be very expensive for them to develop a Blu-ray system in the Wii U though, and if they wanted to keep system costs relatively low compared to the competition, including that feature would not help them in doing so.
Who knows, maybe Blu-ray capabilities could have been a feature exclusive to the deluxe edition of the Wii U, while the normal one would only be able to play CDs and DVDs. But that would really be a stretch.
Now, I know my visions may be far-fetched, but I think Nintendo could have worked something out, and hey, wouldn't have hurt their sales either. This was a pretty large video, and lots of things were talked about. But my main point here was that the Wii U could have been the ultimate entertainment center of people's homes.
The Wii U has the potential to play games from multiple consoles, whether it's through physical games with discs or digital games through Virtual Console. It could have used the disc drive to play other forms of disc media. And on top of that, something I didn't mention yet, the Wii U comes preloaded with some big name streaming services which are quite popular in today's world, though they were only starting to gain popularity when the Wii U came out.
This little system here had so much potential, and it's just sad to me that Nintendo didn't let it bloom into a well-rounded entertainment device that everyone and their mother could enjoy.
Instead, it was just a system that was underpowered and underappreciated.
A lot of people also point to the games on the Wii U being lesser experiences, and some may even go as far as to say that the Wii U entries were some of the worst in their respective series. But I think quite the opposite.
The Wii U did something that Nintendo has always done with its products: experiment. I personally think that many of these experiments were great and offered unique twists to beloved franchises, but sadly, I'm one of the few who thinks this way.
You know, I think it's pretty funny how people will buy a new PlayStation if it has a new number at the end of it, an Xbox if it has a new letter at the end of its name, or a smartphone if it has either one of these in its branding. Yet everyone criticized Nintendo for being so uncreative and confusing with the name Wii U.
They literally did the exact same thing as the companies mentioned previously. They added a new letter to an old console's name, yet they get shunned for it while their competition gets praised for doing the same thing.
That just seems a bit unfair to me. Oh well, it's in the past now though, so all we can do is look back on it and cherish the history. Alright guys, that about wraps up this video. I hope you found it interesting, and if you have a Wii U, maybe you'll give it another chance, pull it back out after watching this. With that, this has been Alex from Fans of Games. Thank you all for watching, and remember, stay cool everybody.